now it is 600 BC, and we're going to tell you a story about Daniel and the lions, a very famous story from the Bible. Now let's hand it over to Elliot.
Okay, I'd like to go back in time, maybe 500, 600 years. We're looking at Daniel. We learned a lot about Daniel the last couple of weeks, but let's take it on to the next stage. Daniel worked for the king. So as well as he worked for King Darius, and Darius wanted to appoint some administrators to run his country, probably to make him rich. So he appointed 120 people to work for him, and he placed 3 sort of top administrators over them. One of those was Daniel. Daniel worked very hard. Daniel was very diligent, did the right thing. He was also very honest and very trustworthy. And because of this, the king had a plan to make Daniel like his head administrator, top worker. And for that, Daniel would probably have been granted a lot of favour with the king. So the other administrators got very jealous. They thought to themselves, why should Daniel be the top one? What has Daniel done ever? They probably thought they would probably lose out with things. So the other administrators tried to look for a way to get at Daniel, to prove he wasn't such a good guy. But he could find no reason to charge him. They tried to make out that Daniel was like not a very good person, or he was a liar or a swindler. But they could find no reason to charge Daniel because of his good conduct. So these naughty administrators who couldn't find any fault with Daniel, they needed to do something really devious. So they went to see the king behind Daniel's back, without Daniel knowing about it. And the administrators said, "Oh, King Darius, live forever," which is a bit of a stupid thing to say. But they advised King Darius put a law into practice that if anybody prays to any other person or any other god apart from you, they must be thrown to the lion's den. And King Darius, who may not have been so clever, agreed to it. Now, I agree, when you're at school, if you watch this, when you're at school and when you're at home, your parents or your teachers won't throw you into the lion's den. But I think we can all agree, if generally you get thrown into the lion's den, you're going to be killed. It won't happen to you, but in this time it was probably quite a common occurrence. So if anyone was to pray, they would get thrown into the lion's den and they would probably die. News eventually reached Daniel. He realised this law had been put in place. What does he do? So what Daniel did, he went home to his room, just as he always did, opened the window and prayed. Can we see Daniel anywhere? So the administrators went to spy on Daniel, and they saw him praying, because he always prays. So the administrators went to tell the king, "King Darius, did you not issue a law saying that if anybody prays to another god apart from you, they should be thrown to the lions?" King Darius replied, "Yes, of course I did." The administrators told the king, "Darius, Daniel, the exile from Judah, he prays to his own God every day." And then the king started to get a bit worried. Daniel, his best servant, his most trusted advisor, would need to get thrown into the lion's den. Darius tried everything he could think of to try and save Daniel, but unfortunately he couldn't. So he called Daniel, and he got thrown into the lion's den. But he said to Daniel before he went, "May your God, whom you continually serve, save you." And at that, Daniel was taken away and thrown into the den. King Darius went back to his palace, and food was brought to him. He ate nothing. Drink was brought to him. He ate nothing. He even didn't want any kind of entertainment. No, King Darius said no entertainment. The next morning, King Darius awoke very early. He rushed down to the lion's den to see what was happening. He called out in a loud voice, "Daniel, has your God, whom you serve, been able to save you?" Daniel walked out calmly. "Yes, Darius, my God sent an angel to close the lion's mouth. He did this because I'm innocent in his sight, and I've never done you wrong at all." King Darius gave orders then to lift Daniel out of the lion's den. He was examined, and not a mark, not a scratch was found on Daniel's body. Then King Darius found the administrators, the men who had done wrong to Daniel, who had deceived him and got Daniel thrown in the lion's den. And he gave orders that them, their wives, and their children be thrown into the lion's den. That seems a bit unfair to me, but that's what happened. So the men who had done wrong and their wives and their children were thrown into the lion's den. And even before they hit the ground, the lions tore them apart and killed them. When this was done, King Darius made a new law, a proper one, saying that the God of Daniel should be revered in the land. What can we learn? So that's the story of Daniel. Anyone who's been in Sunday school with me will know it's one of my favourite stories from the Bible. What can we learn from that today? If we do something wrong, we're not going to get thrown into the lion's den. Well, probably not anyway. What I like about Daniel is he did the right thing. Even before he got thrown into the lion's den, he was a good worker. He was honourable, honest and trustworthy. Whether at school or at work, let's do the right thing. And Daniel still prayed. He remembered God through everything. Even when he knew it was going to cost him a lot, he still prayed to God. Scripture doesn't recall what Daniel prayed. He might have prayed that God would have saved him. He might have prayed that God would have removed King Darius from power. We don't know. But what we do know is that Daniel prayed to God every day.
Thank you, Elliot, for that very interesting story about Daniel. Remember, please like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any fantastic stories. Tune in for next week for some more stories. Thank you. Next is the weather and the news in your local town.